Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. I woke up with an insane amount of energy this morning, so apologies in advance if I get a little hyped as I'm reading through things. Anyway, let's start. First up, earlier this month, Ripple announced that they would be attending the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications, or SWIFT's, annual conference known as CBOS or CYBOS, depending on how you want to say it. This year, this led many to believe that a potential partnership was on the horizon, considering that SWIFT is Ripple's biggest competitor in the market it is targeting. The attitude of Ripple's towards SWIFT has been demonstrated many times in the past, with multiple executives making it clear that they wish to take over the incumbents and not partner with them. This has not deterred the XRP community on Twitter, many of who continue to believe that a partnership is coming between the two. However, Marcus Treacher, the global head of strategic accounts at Ripple, said in a tweet from the conference, he said, this is what SWIFT said. At CYBOS, he said, the benefits of distributed ledger technology are promising, but delivering it is still years away. And then the person from Ripple said, there are over 100 financial institutions who with access to instant payments across 40 countries and 6 continents who would say otherwise, end quote. This is in reference to Ripple's network of banks known as RippleNet, reaching across 40 countries. They aim to create a seamless network for payments around the world known as the Internet of Value. Treacher also said in another tweet, and I quote, new McKinsey global payments map suggests leading banks are moving away from POCs and using blockchain at scale. At Ripple, hashtag blockchain allows for faster time to market and better global payment services, end quote. The sentiment of the XRP community reigned strong after such sentiments from an executive at the firm. It goes on to what people tweeting, and it's not really necessary to know exactly what individuals around the world were tweeting. The point is, for many moons now, we've had speculation that Ripple was, first of all, the entire point of Ripple, the company, is to throw SWIFT into the ground. If you've ever watched Brad Garlinghouse speak at any events, whenever he's talking about the Internet of Value or moving money around the world, it's always the kind of exact same thing. He says it nicely. He says it the way that you would if you owned a multi-billion-dollar company, which he does. You pretty much say, I think that the other solutions that we have right now are great, but ours are much better. And he's always, he has that thing where he talks about like flying around the world, suitcase full of money, get it there quicker than Swift. The point is, there's been an enormous amount of people, like I get why the speculation was there. I got it. But people kept on thinking that at some mysterious meeting, that Ripple had spoken to the people from SWIFT, and therefore SWIFT was going to pretty much say, you know what, guys, we give up. We can't do this anymore. Ripple's the winner, and that they were going to kind of give the crown to Ripple. SWIFT has been around for a very long time. They have a hold on the market, if you will, and this is why Ripple is so significant, because they're trying to make this not even a partnership, this monopoly that SWIFT has with the entire world kind of go away. There are a lot of countries in the world who have openly come out against SWIFT. They can't stand it. They tried making their own thing, but the problem is that you need an interconnected network large enough to be able to transact with countries, multiple countries around the world at the exact same time. And at the moment, SWIFT has that, and regardless if their technology is from the 70s or not, which is absolutely ridiculous that we're still transacting money around the world with a system that was built 40-something years ago. The point is, this is what Ripple is for. As of now, it seems to be that there is not going to be any partnership between SWIFT or Ripple. Didn't see that coming in the first place, especially normally if you have a monopoly on something and you see that someone else is dealing in cryptocurrencies, is new to the space, especially as Ripple, the company, is about 5 years old, you don't, you're not going to give them any type of leeway. Swift is still incredibly slow. They've been having network outages the same as Visa and MasterCard. No partnership is in the works. Didn't expect that it was going to be. I think eventually Ripple will continue to take over. The fact that if you saw in one of my other videos where I was talking about all the other countries who they've partnered with and all the other governments and the 50 central banks who they're also working with, it's pretty clear where the scales are going to tilt as far as who is probably going to win. Ripple has had a very good head start, and that's simply because while they were doing all that for the last 3 or 4 years, Swift completely took the entire cryptocurrency space as a joke, and now they've had a 3 to 4 year head start. So very good on the Ripple team. As far as them working with Swift, I don't think it's going to happen. That doesn't mean that Swift isn't going to continue to be around for at least some time. I could see a world when about not 5 years, like 10, 15 years, where Swift is kind of like this old antiquated thing that we talk about that we used to use, and like we tell our kids, remember, it used to take a week to send money, and our kids laugh because it's ridiculous because, you know, it's 2018 and it should take seconds to send money. Anyway, the point is that's what happened, and yeah, let's move on. Next up, Argentina and Turkey are now able to send and receive Bitcoin Cash without using the internet. The company called Cointext.io has decided to launch a new service in these two new markets. Users are able to use Bitcoin Cash via SMS or text rather than with a wallet connected to the internet. The information has been released by the company a few days ago. Users in Argentina and Turkey will now be able to send and receive Bitcoin Cash using SMS messaging. In both countries, there has been increased volatility in their economies. Additionally, the Turkish lira and the Argentine peso have lost between 40 and 60% of their value. For those who have not been paying attention, I know sometimes the last 2 years, the news has kind of been all over the place. I am also guilty of not paying as much attention to traditional news as I really should have, simply because I think the world is in a state of turmoil that I'm not going to even get into right now. The point is, there has been a massive situation that's been unfolding the last 3 months for those who have not been paying attention. Between JP Morgan Chase coming forward and talking about that they believe, I don't know if you've seen this article, it came out about a day or two ago, and even a month ago, there was also something else released from JP Morgan Chase where they were talking about the economy. As of now, analysts in JP Morgan Chase believe that if there is not an economic crash, recession this year, the chances of it happening in 2019 go up by, I believe 30% or something like that. By 2020, it'll go up by another, 30% as well on top of that other 30. And pretty much by 2021, there is some type of imminent global recession that is going to be taking place. On top of that as well, we've seen in Venezuela, their currency is currently at 1.4 million with an M percent hyperinflation. It's not even hyperinflation, but it's like dirt inflation. Argentina is also having a problem right now where their currency is completely tanking. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, there was a major thing in the news. I try to keep up with like financial news at least. And what happened was something happened in the US, something about tariffs or something about so and so and so. And the Turkish lira completely fell on its side in comparison to the US dollar. And since then, it's been slumping heavily. As you guys know, the US kind of makes the monetary rules. I was going to try and sugarcoat it, but we're all adults here. We know exactly how more or less how the world works. This has also been happening in another number of African countries. There's also fears of like trade war and all this other stuff. Everything is happening in, things with the economy and trade amongst countries, and also Brexit. There are a lot of things that are devaluing other currencies around the world. And it leads me to one of those moments, not going to talk about it too much, where, I'll put it this way. We've had predictions from certain people or person who has spoken about that in 2019 that Bitcoin is going to be worth $100,000. And it's looking more likely as the days go by. If that should happen, we're definitely going to talk about it in 2019. I mean, if Bitcoin hits $100,000, that's something that I think that everyone has to be talking about. But the way that the world is being set up right now, the way that the economy is looking, the fact that world economies around the world, are crumbling. And it's kind of like the beginning of this, we've been years now, we've been talking about when the next stock market crash is going to happen. And it's looking like it's going to, like, there are people who are like, there are mega banks who are now talking about that is, if it doesn't happen this year, it's going to happen within the next 2 years. And by all accounts, everyone's talking about that it's going to be absolutely detrimental. Didn't mean to segue too much off of the entire topic, but on the topic of Turkey and Argentina losing the value of their currencies, this has only happened within the last couple of weeks. So think about that. especially with the NASDAQ not doing too well as well. If you go to Google, type in NASDAQ, like the prices will already come up, and if you should be able to do like I think a month or 5-month view or something like that. Look at the prices and how things are going down. Everything looks like it might not be doing too well, and I hope the crypto market keeps its head up. Anyway, continuing on with that. Because of this situation, individuals in both countries are starting to buy virtual currencies. That's an understatement. According to Coinbase, both countries have registered an increased number of Bitcoin transactions in the last weeks. When there was news about Turkey, it was actually I know it's not funny about a country's currency being devalued, but there was stuff on the news, and I thought it was pretty funny. They were showing on, was it CNN? It was one of the the news websites where they were talking about it, and there were long lines outside of like Gucci and H&M and all these other like really like luxurious stores, and they were talking to people. There were long lines, and they were asking them why are you all buying this stuff? Isn't the currency really bad? And they were talking to the people, and they were like, we're from New York. We're from Dubai. They were like, their currency is being devalued, so we can buy all this stuff at a discount. And also, they were also talking to people, trying to, in some capacity, to talk to people on the streets, because when economies aren't doing too well, you can't really go around and shove a microphone in someone's face and ask them, are they buying Bitcoin? But they figured out that not only in Argentina, not only in Turkey, but also in Venezuela, the last year and a half, people have been, this is why I think it's so weird that prices aren't moving as well. People have been buying up Bitcoin and Dash and other privacy coins in droves. And it's like, why aren't price? I mean, that's not to say that every single person inside of these countries is buying these, cryptocurrencies, but it's kind of like prices should be moving in a certain direction. Like, I remember years ago, there was something that happened in Cyprus. Was it Cyprus or Greece? Somewhere around that area. It's somewhere where it's hot. And something happened like one day with their banks or something like that, and Bitcoin shot up in value. So the fact that we have other currencies around the world completely collapsing and Bitcoin continues to go down, and we know that people in these countries are buying Bitcoin, bit of a head scratcher. Vin Armani, amazing name, Cointex founder and CTO, said that Bitcoin is a better kind of money. Additionally, he mentioned that Argentinians and Turks now know what high inflation is and how it affects their lives. He said Bitcoin is better money. Many Turks and Argentinians already understand this due to high inflation. We are excited to provide tools to help them use cryptocurrency without having to read anymore. We had another, I don't think it's the same exact company, but there was another company that did the exact same thing in Venezuela for Dash. And maybe it was even the Dash people. And I said, I thought it was very intelligent. First of all, not even quote unquote, having to use the internet and just simply being able to text money back and forth is incredibly important. And I think we're going to get to a point where we may even be transacting in crypto more in text than we actually are using the internet or some type of app, whatever the case might be. I think it's a very cool idea. The world is, for those who did not see it already, you can maybe Google around and you'll definitely be able to find it, or even try and find it on YouTube. What is it called? Moody ratings. Every country has a rating, like an economic rating. I think the highest is like AAA, if I'm not mistaken. It depends on the basis of how trustworthy you are to be able to receive loans from other countries and being able to loan out money, and how economically strong your country is. Earlier today, that is today, not yesterday or the day after, Italy was given a rating by the rating company, and the rating is one line above dirt, like actual dirt. Like they've been given such a low score that the Italian government is now trying to go to Belgium, I think it is, and trying to have talks with the rest of the European Union to figure out what they can do, because Turkey's not doing too well, Italy's not doing too well, Greece isn't, I guess I'm hungry, almost said something about pizza. And also Spain, for what it's worth, hasn't been doing too well for this is looking worse and worse for the rest of the world as we continue to go on. And I was talking with my friend, once again, the same friend who I used to always mention. We were talking about if this is all happening for a reason, i.e., whenever we have news about all these like bankers and stuff like that who are getting into cryptocurrency and, they're leaving from Wall Street, what if they've seen the cracks in the wall before anyone else? What if they all realized, the market's going up when it was a couple of weeks ago? We're on this long-term bull run. How much longer can this last? Apparently not much longer. I feel like, my personal opinion, when the next market crash does happen, that is the stock market crash, I feel like everyone is laying the groundwork right now. They understand that a crash is coming, and this is why we have so many of the major banks and institutions. Like, there's a reason why the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange and ICE and the CBOE and Fidelity and all these other people have been getting into cryptocurrencies. I think they see the writing on the wall. They see countries are collapsing right now, and no one's really talking about it in depth, if you will. No one's really even scratching the surface that this is actually even happening. When you normally, and at any given time, you can maybe have one or two countries who are doing really, really bad. But when you have 17 at the exact same time, and the stock markets aren't looking too well, people are expecting prices to pull back when the Fed is expected to raise interest rates. Something's going to happen very soon. For one, I'm going to put it this way. If it has to happen, as traditionally the stock market does crash in cycles, if this is going to happen, this is not me saying that I want it to happen, but if it is going to happen, I hope it maybe takes place Q3 of 2019, just so that crypto can have a long enough bull run and enough interest inside of it, so that should the rest of the world kind of fall on its side, that everyone starts dumping money into crypto. It's very, very exciting. This is all I'm pretty sure you can tell by my voice. It's like waiting for Christmas, and every single day is the 24th, and then you wake up and it's still the 24th, but at some point it's going to be the 25th. It just is driving me absolutely insane, because we can see all these things finally happening in the world. They're all taking place. It worries me, because I know that stock markets and recessions happening are not good things. Millions of people around the world will lose their jobs and their livelihood, and that makes me very upset. And it's on the exact same note that I always say, I've said it before, I'm very happy that everyone listening to these videos, that you are into cryptocurrencies, that you understand at least to some extent what's happening, and that should traditional markets go haywire, that you are hopefully in a place, as in cryptocurrencies, that could potentially do very well in the future. Because I already told you guys before, I don't have mega high hopes for the world in the coming years, especially with automation taking over everything. I think we're going to have to get very clever when it comes to figuring out, making money from cryptocurrencies, and then once we have that money, making sure to put it into alternative investments, because this is happening and we can't stop it, or rather the people in charge aren't going to stop it. I'll put it that way. Yeah, I didn't mean to spend that much time on this, but this is one of it's such an interesting topic that we go through these cycles, and it's humans never learn. We destroy and burn things, and then we put the fire out, and then we look at the next tree and we go, okay, let's set that one on fire. And then we kind of do the same thing over and over. But let's hope that at least cryptocurrencies maybe are our saving grace in all of this. All right, let's move on. Next up, BAT is in the news. While most of the popular cryptocurrencies drowned in the bearish waters, so to say, one managed to stay afloat. Basic Attention Token, or BAT, has now emerged to be one of the biggest gainers in the bear market, posting a growth of 15.69%, very accurate, in the last 24 hours. At the time of writing, BAT was trading at 27 cents, market cap of 227 million, 272 million. They talk about how much it surged. They have a little chart here. Not really that important, blah, 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 blah. Oh, so this basically has to do with the, what's it called? With the Coinbase effect. So when I woke up, I think it was around 27% up, but as time goes on, it's still reflecting the last 24 hours. This doesn't mean that everything is crashing down, what have you. Part of the Coinbase effect is, since 0x has been added, the price of 0x went up. People are now speculating heavily as to what they think the next token is going to be, and it's happening in a reversed manner, meaning, remember when I said before the coins that I thought that they were going to add first, I assumed it would be Cardano, I assumed it would be Stellar, and I assumed it would be Zcash, simply because Gemini has added Zcash, and Cardano and Stellar are relatively more popular than 0x, not my opinion, than going by the numbers. So instead of thinking that they're going to add Zcash or Cardano next. People are now speculating if they added 0x, and BAT is also number 31, and therefore the other coins are, placed before it, Cardano and Stellar, that they're probably, not my opinion, everyone else's, that they're probably going to add the BAT token next to their platform, as Coinbase has had many problems in the past, especially when they added 0x of being accused of insider trading. Not going to get into it. So it seems like they want to maybe add the smaller coins, if you will, to their platform to not have as much strain on their platform, because if you add if they added XRP tomorrow, Coinbase would have a 4 forever for the last Coinbase would collapse into itself if they announced that they were can you imagine a text from Coinbase saying in the next 3 hours we're going to add XRP? They wouldn't be able to handle it. So the idea is that they add the smaller, maybe potentially lesser known tokens, quote unquote, to their platform to be able to gauge how much interest is there on the platform, and also to not have their platform be overloaded. The point is, this is what people are speculating on as to what is going to be the potential next coin on top of Coinbase. I have a feeling that they're definitely going to probably add all 5 of the tokens that they were talking about. 0x was added. That I thought 0x was never going to be added, or rather it would be like the very last one is yeah, you can have this one as well. BAT is probably going to be added, Cardano as well, Zcash, and I'm surprised also that Stellar hasn't been listed onto it. Whatever the case might be, if you look at some of the other charts for the other coins, there was also a bit of a spike as well for them, as far as it was just BAT, BAT, Stellar, Cardano, and there was a 1% leap for Zcash. Anyway, point is, price is up, people speculating, so that's just what it is. Let's move on. Next up, another stablecoin has joined the market. This time, the popular exchange Huobi decided to launch its own stablecoin known as HUSD, or HUST. The information has been released some time ago by Huobi in a blog post. The new HUST will be exchanged for Pax token, USDC, TUSD, and GUSD in order to meet the demand from the market. Huobi Global launched an all-in-one stablecoin. During the last couple of months, we have seen how different stablecoins entered the market. During Circle created its USD coin, USDC coin, the Gemini exchange did the same with Gust and other popular stablecoins such as Tether, I don't know, Pax Standard, and TrueUSD. All of them promise to be different and compliant with regulatory requirements. However, they are not all listed in various exchanges, and interoperability between them is still a problem. The new HUST targets multiple stablecoins. It eliminates the need to choose between different stablecoins, and it saves cost to switch between them. The solution proposed by Huobi is innovative. There's no other similar product available in the market. Users can deposit any stablecoin into Huobi, and they will be managed in HUST. If they want to withdraw their stablecoin, users will be able to choose between Pax, USDC, TUSD, and GUSD. That's actually kind of cool that you can choose between all of them. This is, once again, yet another stablecoin that has entered the market. Not surprised by this at all. I still told you guys I expect by the end of the year we should have at least 40 to 50 stablecoins that are launched completely, or rather that we have had news about that are going to launch over the next couple of weeks or months, whatever the case might be, even early 2019. Sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, it's going to continue happening. All hope or ideas of hope have kind of been lost as far as Tether. People are still trying to hang on to it, but it looks like that legacy, or at least that page in the book, might completely be done. I can definitely see Tether trying to come back in the next couple of years, or maybe not ever even officially disappearing, but rather more like taking a back seat and then trying to come forward over the next couple of years when they actually do get proper, at least in my opinion, proper funding and proper audits on their thing. There were a lot of articles over the last week about not stablecoins, but also can crypto survive without Tether? And it's has Tether ruined crypto? And I see these articles, I kind of pass over them, but there were way too many of them for me not to take notice that people were trying to not spread disinformation, but it's kind of why are you making articles like that when you know that Bitcoin is not going to die unless every single bit of Bitcoin has been actually purchased exclusively with Tether, I think we're probably going to be okay. Anyway, let's move on from the stablecoin news. Last up, over the past 24 hours, Bitcoin has achieved a new yearly low volume, demonstrating a lack of momentum and strength to recover to the region higher of $6,000. On CoinMarketCap, the volume of Bitcoin fell to 3.1 billion, while it fell to 1.91 billion on CoinCap. The previous yearly low point of Bitcoin volume was 3.2 billion on CoinMarketCap and 2 billion on CoinCap. The low volume of Bitcoin, possibly affected by a decline in trader activity on Sunday, could have negative impact on the short-term trend of the dominant cryptocurrency. Without having to read too much further, what is happening right now is Bitcoin's volume has fallen, obviously, and this is not good for the crypto market as a whole, because we know that Bitcoin controls the entire cryptocurrency market. Wherever the market goes, wherever Bitcoin goes, the market tends to follow. The problem is a lowering of volume shows a lack of interest in Bitcoin. And if the volume gets too low, this is why we need, when people talk about having liquidity in the market, it's about having an enormous amount of, like, we need this to be around at least 40 billion and not 3.5 billion. When you have more money flowing around through the market, even if someone is cashing out $500,000 worth of Bitcoin, that won't have a major effect on the price. But the lower the volume goes and the more that these numbers in comparison look to the actual volume that we have on Bitcoin, it can have a detrimental effect. And when we have a detrimental effect on Bitcoin, the price lowers. And when that price lowers, the price of the rest of the market also continues to lower. And it's just not really looking good at the moment. When I woke up, I think Bitcoin was around like exactly 6,500, if I'm not mistaken. People are saying that this week is going to be a test of sorts, in that we need Bitcoin to stay above 6,000. That's like the number that's constantly quoted. I saw other people saying that we needed to stay above 5,900. People said it was okay if it dipped to around, 5,983 and then kind of worked its way back up. What I think has happened is, and this is me, this is how I feel about it, this is because of the information that I've gathered over the last 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months. Remember, we had a lot of news about crypto exchanges falsifying their volume. I think, or rather I know from what I've read, that an enormous part of Bitcoin's volume was actually faked or frauded from cryptocurrency exchanges, in that they put 5 million into a wallet and they were sending it back and forth between a wallet on the exchange, and this is what boosted up the volume. We also had a lot of other crypto exchanges announcing, or rather it had been announced, it was multiple of them as well, like not any of, like, rather within the top 30, about 10 of them had been caught doing this back and forth, and they were pushing up the volume, and it showed falsified interest in the market that actually wasn't there. That's a huge problem. So I think over the last couple of weeks, this is my own opinion, as regulations have become a bit tighter than they were before, I think maybe they've been called out because people are paying more attention to these wallets that are actually on these cryptocurrency exchanges. And also, I think governments and their financial entities inside the countries have been going to their exchanges and looking through their files and figuring out that things have been falsified, or other exchanges who may have been falsifying them have stopped. Interest is still there. Obviously, we have an enormous amount of volume, but the problem is it's only going lower. It's been going lower for quite some time. It needs to really pick itself back up. I'm not exactly sure when this is going to happen. This graph is just like absolutely incredible. For what it's worth, people believe that at this point the price should have shot up, as we have gotten to this tight range and Bitcoin is just completely moving sideways. No one knows what's going to happen. I'm still betting on November. It's the 22nd right now at the time I'm making this video. Only a couple of days away. Who knows exactly what's going to happen? But there needs at this point. It's almost imperative that Bitcoin have some type of jump in volume, even value as well. Freudian slip, but that's exactly what it needs to be. But yeah, that's definitely, I guess, it for this video. All hope is not lost. Bitcoin is not done, but the market is definitely sleeping a tiny bit. There's definitely like indications of what could be in the future, but we've had such an amazing amount of good news the last 2 months, and Bitcoin only going down is, I still think that the market is being manipulated. There's no way on this green earth that Fidelity and the New York Stock Exchange can talk about getting into Bitcoin, and exclusively Bitcoin as well. They've mentioned Bitcoin themselves, and then the price goes down. Kind of how I feel about it. Hopefully November brings in greener days. I'd love to see some days like this on Bitcoin. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, and or evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you once again for watching and or listening, and I'll talk to you all soon. See you.